perfectly wonderful children with well-designed brains ready to go. And then it's like they get put through this blender of images and overstimulation with screens for a few years, and out comes a totally different being that's really difficult to work with. Just don't do it. People will never regret not putting their children in front of screens. They may regret putting them in front of screens. So that would be my parting word. Keep them away from screens, have them live next to you in the real world, collaborating with you, and invite them to do things with you. Cooking, cleaning, whatever you're doing, ask them to join you, because that's how human beings learn.
One thing that for sure that in traditional education, we keep having different ways of educating our children. After pandemics in some of the states, in California, we're noticing that now children are much earlier entering public schools. We even have high schools that must have early childhood center. And I think it's done to support the parents and their needs and not truly looking at the children's needs. So listening to you today makes perfect sense. A K through 12 teacher who's educated for those developmental stages, but not really for the developmental stages, for the academics, is not ready to be able to take care of a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. So as our government, as a huge advocate for young students, I really strongly urge parents to speak to their assembly members, their senators, and get Montessori education. There are charter schools out there, and it's easy for us to be able to implement some of these things into the traditional education. And I was just speaking to trainers from India. There are training centers worldwide where, after listening to you, I would want to go back, and I am a 3 to 6 trained primary guide or teacher. And after listening to you, I wonder so many others would want to become teachers, and they can look up Association Montessori International's website, and they have a variety of training centers worldwide, including every continent that I know of except for Antarctica. So looking at the training center would be really great. And
Yes.
As you were speaking, Paula, one of the things that I wonder is if you can share an encouragement about Montessori education with Montessori educators or parents, what would that be? What would you say to them?
An encouragement.
Yeah, piece of advice or something about taking that first step, being a guide for the first year in a Montessori classroom, or perhaps a parent who is like, I don't know, I want, but I don't, this is so new to me.
Yeah. I think in my book, I use the term pillars, kind of 3 pillars that I invite people to think about to understand Montessori as a framework. The first is the environment. The second is the adult who models and prepares the environment. And the third is a balance of freedom and responsibility. And what I would say in answer to that question is that the middle, the adult, is really key. We're always modeling. And the longer I have been talking with parents, and as I've gotten older and older, and the parents I'm talking to have gotten younger and younger, the more I find myself saying, we can really overthink all of this by focusing so much on our child. And I think there is so much stress in our culture and our society right now to focus on the children. Be a better parent, spend more time with your child, really get involved in everything, be right there. And we know, you and I, from being educators, that's not necessarily going to be positive. What we do need to think about is ourselves. So I find that I say to parents more and more, stop focusing so much on your child and focus more on yourself. Because if you are modeling well, if you are demonstrating how to live a happy life, if you are demonstrating how to calm yourself down when you're upset or scared, if you are demonstrating how to take a positive attitude about something, how to recover from a mishap, or, just how to react to something. They're watching you. They're soaking that in. You're their biggest teacher. And for us as teachers and as parents to just remember that's the most powerful way of teaching is being. Life is so complicated and there's so many stressors and there's so much going on. If we can just do that one thing, it will make a huge difference. It's just, we had a parent panel at Forest Bluff the other night, and I wasn't able to be there, but I did invite each of these parents to be on the panel. And so I was very excited to hear their voices in a recording afterwards of what they said. And I'm going to post it so that everyone can listen to this, because one parent said at one point, someone said something like, do you have any, lasting advice or something like that? He said, stop worrying so much. And everybody laughed because, of course, he was in their shoes just, a couple decades ago. But it really is true. We are stressing and worrying so much, and the children are becoming anxious, and the children are having more and more and more problems. And when the adults around them are calm, you can think more clearly. The answer comes more clearly to you. It's interesting, Adele Diamond, who does a lot of studies with executive function in children, she points out that you cannot think well when you're stressed. To be able to think, you need time and you need to be calm. And that's what we hope to give our children in a Montessori setting, whether it be at home or in a classroom. Time to think through your thoughts, to make a decision, to act with intention, to concentrate on what you're doing. So the biggest piece of advice I would have is to focus on yourself, calming yourself down, modeling, be the person that you would like to see your child be something like someday. And then it will happen. It really does happen that way because nature set it up to happen that way. But if I can say one other thing, Yogi, it would be if I only had one piece of advice for parents of what not to do, it would be keep them away from screens. Keep children away from screens. I cannot emphasize that enough. I feel that I keep seeing perfectly wonderful children with well-designed brains ready to go. And then it's like they get put through this blender of images and overstimulation with screens for a few years, and out comes a totally different being that's really difficult to work with. Just don't do it. People will never regret not putting their children in front of screens. They may regret putting them in front of screens. So that would be my parting word. Keep them away from screens. Have them live next to you in the real world, collaborating with you, and invite them to do things with you. Cooking, cleaning, whatever you're doing, ask them to join you because that's how human beings learn.
Absolutely. And Dr. Adele Diamond will be on our podcast in March. So I'm looking forward to just asking her anything and everything because she's a huge researcher and she definitely supports Montessori education.
She's amazing.
Paula, she's awesome. Paula, can I see the book that you have written? So others, if they're looking, this is the book that we had in our school library and we still do. And the Montessori Potential. It's for every parent and every child. And thank you, Paula, for writing this book. And can you tell us one favorite part of your book? I bet you maybe have all of them that are favorite, but is there anything that in particular that was like, wow, when I wrote this, I thought?
I guess I would say I don't really have a favorite part anymore, but I would say that when I was writing it, I kept insisting that we needed to put in stories of real children. I had this journal, and then in my mind, I had so many stories and anecdotes and experiences I'd had that I believed would bring it to life for people. But I had this journal where I had written down word for word little things they had said and done. And I wanted to share that because I really believed I haven't seen that much. I really haven't seen people bring to life the stories. I've heard all the stories. I've seen the stories. But I thought that would be the most powerful way to help people understand not only that these are real children and they make mistakes and are confused about life and, have struggles and all of that too, just like any child, but that these amazing things happen in Montessori classrooms. So I would say the chapter where I give those stories, and then all throughout I put anecdotes as much as I could so that while people were reading information, every couple pages they'd get to a story, and then every couple pages they'd be in another story, because I wanted it to read, a little bit more like a novel, the feeling of like this is real, and help people picture it and just bring up all those emotions and thoughts of their own. And so I hope I was able to do that with the book. And so that was something that was really important to me. I didn't want it to read like an academic book or just a nonfiction information book. I wanted it to be full of life.
It was definitely relatable and educational and empowering. So I definitely appreciate you being here and speaking about Montessori. There's so much that we did not discuss, and there's never a time, but an hour to share all the information you have would be truly helpful for both parents and caregivers. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you so much, Yogi. It was really fun. It was an honor to be with you with all of your experience. Thank you.
Thank you.